Hello everyone, welcome to the live session. We'll wait for 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. Yes, Bhaskar, the link is already available, I guess. Let me just show you how you can access the link. Just hold on, Bhaskar. We'll start in a couple of minutes, and that time I will show you how to access it. Okay, let's get started, everybody. So, welcome to this. Uh, I think this is the second week of live interaction, and so there are two TAs who will be taking these live interaction sessions. So in case you miss out on any content, or you miss out on this live session, you can always either watch the video or attend the live session on Monday, and the other TA will also take the same content. So somebody was asking me about the previous times recording, the previous live sessions recording. I hope I'm audible. If I'm audible, just say yes, yes or no on the chat box. Okay, yes, great. Okay, let me just log into the course and I'll show you where it is. It can be accessed. So I'm having two monitors here. So you might be wondering why I'm looking right. So I'm just scrolling through this other monitor. They have not put it yet. Okay. Okay, I will inform the NPTEL team about this. It should be available actually. Anyways, I will share the link with you right now. Where is this? They have not put it. Okay, I will share the link with you right now. Let me just share the link. Okay, so I'm going to share the link now with you guys. Yeah, sorry, Asin, I didn't see your message. Let me just unmute. But going forward, whatever doubts you have, kindly put it in the chat box because a lot of people start speaking when I unmute, and it's very hard for me to listen. So I'll unmute for now, and then you can ask me. But going forward, please type whatever you want to in the chat box. Let me unmute. Yeah, I've unmuted. You can ask your question now. Hello, hello. I've unmuted you guys. You can ask me. Asin, you wanted to ask something, right?
Pardon?
Addition of matrix without using array.
Okay, we'll look into that. Then Ashin is saying it is not active. It is. You need to unmute yourself and speak. Ashin.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Anurag.
Good evening, Ashin.
Yeah, the thing is, I submitted first assignment. In that,
Okay.
the question is, if A is greater than B and B is greater than C, or A is less than B or B is less than C, output is 1. Otherwise, output is 0. Means the three numbers we have to give input.
Mm-hmm.
If all are either ascending order or descending order, output should be 1. Otherwise, output is 0.
Okay.
For that, I have written code like if A greater than B greater than C, or that means logical or A less than B less than C, print 1, else I kept to print 0.
Okay.
Test case is also positive. But I got only 60% of marks in that question.
So actually, Ashin, I'm not involved with the assignment part. So, I'm just going to have these live interaction sessions where I'll be discussing some questions which might or might not help you with the assignment. So
Okay,
regarding
okay,
this, why they gave you 60%, I don't know. Maybe you can just put it on the forum and ask them.
okay, okay, okay. Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you,
So,
sir.
yeah. So, guys, I'll just get started. I have a few questions to discuss. First, we will discuss those questions and then we will move on to, then I'll take your queries. Uh, just one second. So, I have some really interesting questions to discuss and I'll walk you through the entire process. Okay. I'll walk you through the entire process of solving that question. It's a slightly challenging question if you are a beginner. But we'll go through it together step by step. So let me just share the question. It's done in various. I have like four questions to discuss. So this is the first question. I hope my screen is visible. Write a program. Do the following using while loops. Okay. Accept two numbers m and n from the user, where m is the number of rows and n is the number of columns of a matrix. Accept integer numbers as input for this matrix row wise. Once a row has been input by the user, indicate to the user to enter the next row. So first you do A, B, and C, okay, and then we will after you have done A, B, and C, then I will discuss the question, the solution, and then go on to the next step. So I hope that is clear. Let me just show you what the output will look like first. Okay, let me just. I'll run this code and I'll show you what I expect. Okay, so I hope you can see the. I hope you can see my screen. So it's saying enter two numbers as the dimensions of a 2D matrix. So let me enter uh, 3 and 4. So it's a 3 cross 4 matrix. Now I want this to be the next thing to be displayed. So enter the elements of row 0 of the matrix. So let me just enter 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now row 0 is complete. Enter the elements of row 1 of the matrix. Okay. So let me enter that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So row 1 is complete. Now enter the elements of row 2. Okay, 7. Let me just enter some numbers. So row 2 is complete. So you see there the dimension of the matrix is 3 cross 4. Okay, so there are 3 rows 0, 1, 2 and 4 columns, right? So the 4 columns, so for each row there will be 4 elements because there are 4 columns. So this is what I want the output to be. Okay, let me just take a screenshot of this. So let me put it in the chat box. Okay, I'm not able to send an image. Okay, no problem. So you guys can start solving this. I'll give you guys around 10 to 12 minutes. Uh, Please try and attempt this, and then we will, go through the question. I'll walk you all through the entire process of how to solve this. So yeah, I'll just set a timer for 10 minutes. So Ajit, we will discuss that addition of matrix without using array. We will discuss that, Ajit. And also the somebody had a problem with GCD, so we will discuss that as well. Don't worry. So first, let us discuss question one, and then we will get into the remaining questions. So, Himanshu, you have to solve this question, and I've given you time till 6:32. So you can see this here. That is why I'm not speaking, so that you guys can solve. And once you have done that, then we'll discuss this. So don't worry, I have not gone incognito. Hmm. Yes, I have shared it. Okay, Akshat is done. Good, good, Akshat. So we'll wait till 6:32, as you guys can see, and then we'll discuss. Okay, good, Lakhan. Yes, Venkat Sai, I have shared the link of the recording. Let me share it again. I don't know whether you have access to it. So actually, NPTEL is supposed to share the live recording, but they have not done it. Or it's I don't know if it's they have done it. I'm not able to see it here. So I'll again remind them. It should be available on the course page itself. Uh, Let me share my the previous recording once again. Okay. Yeah, I have shared. I have shared it. So the guys who are joining in new. Uh, okay, we are done with our time. So we'll discuss the question as well. So whoever is joining in new, again, I would like to remind you that we will. We'll be whatever we are whatever questions you have, you can put it on the chat box, and then I'll respond to it in time. Because one reason is a lot of people will speak simultaneously, so it's hard for me to hear. And the second thing is a lot of people keep coming, joining, and leaving the session. So there's this constantly there's this every time somebody joins in, there's a lot of noise in my ear, ting 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 that keeps. So I have muted the audio. So that is one of the reasons why I have disabled the microphone. See, you can see, right? Some people are joining in now. So when they join in, there's a sound ting 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 like that in my ear. So to avoid that, I've just muted the audio. So whatever questions you have, please put it in the chat box, and then I'll respond to it. Okay. Okay, guys. I am glad to see that a few of you have solved it. Venkat Sai, Raj Prabhakar, Lakhna, Akshat Gupta. Okay, so can somebody share their screen and try and explain it? Not explain it, at least show the output. So we'll know whether it is working. Okay, Akshat is raising his hand. So yeah, Akshat, go ahead and share your screen. So I'll stop presenting. Maybe Akshat can just share his screen. Akshat or I don't know. So to share your screen, you just need to. Let me just show you how to do it in case you're having problems. Okay, Akshat is presenting. Good. Wait. Let me stop presenting. Yeah, Akshat, go ahead. 1 second. Yeah, just 1 second. Okay, so Akshat is sharing a screen, guys. Just notice his screen and uh, okay, 2, 3, good. Okay, row 2 is complete. Yeah, good, Akshat. So Akshat has solved this. So I'll go ahead and explain this to you guys. Okay. Uh, Thanks, Akshat. Let me just share my screen. Okay, thanks, Akshat. So Deva Guru is asking, I am studying BCom. I am art as well. Please basics of C programming. Yeah, Akshat. So everything is being taught from scratch in the course. So don't worry. Uh, you can just follow the lectures, and the lectures are given. Professor has taught it in a very nice way. So you follow the lectures, and I'm 100% sure that you will you'll be able to pick up the C programming language. Okay. So regarding the exams, I'm not sure, guys. Like I already told you, I'm not related. I'm not connected to the admin part of this course. So I'm actually a scholar in IIT Madras, and professor is in IIT Kanpur. So that's a different team. You'll have to ask them directly on NPTEL how the exam will be conducted and all that. Okay, so let us discuss this. Okay, I'll just share my code. I'll just share my screen. So, yeah, this is how it's going to look. I hope my screen is visible. Yeah. So, I have two numbers, M and N. Okay. And then this is, I'm, printing out onto the console, telling the user to enter two numbers. And as you already know that the scanf function will take in two inputs. Uh, and these two inputs will be stored in M and N in the variables M and N. Okay, so we have defined these two variables M and N, and these two inputs, whatever we input, will be stored in these variables. So let me just run it and show you guys. For those who are new also, uh, I know some of you might find this repetitive, but uh, we need to take everybody with us. So see, I'm entering two numbers. Let me enter 2 and 3. So you can see that 2 will be stored in M and 3 will be stored in N. Okay. So let me just close this. So now the question is that I need to have a 2 by 3 matrix. Let's say I enter 2 and 3. I need to have a 2 by 3 matrix, and I need to read the rows of this matrix, right? So let me just go here and let me start. I'm not able to write here. Huh? Just give me a second. I'll try to and get this to work. Yeah. Okay. So let's say I enter an input. So the question is, accept two inputs. That is what I just showed you. Then accept integer numbers as input for this matrix row wise. So this is the key part, row wise. Okay. And once a row has been input by the user, indicate to the user to enter the next row. So I have two inputs. Let's say uh, I input 2 and I input 3. Okay. So I have a 2 by 3 matrix, two rows and three columns. Okay. So this is going to be my matrix. And what I want to do is I want to store the number. First, let's say I want to store the number row wise. So this remember guys, in whatever index that we have, we'll start with 0, we will not start with 1. Okay, so this is my 0th row, this is my first row. Okay, this is my 0th column, this is my first column, this is my second column, right? So we have actually 2 rows, 3 columns. Okay, so this is my 0 comma 0, 0 comma 1, 0 comma 2. Okay, 1 comma 0, 1 comma 1, and 1 comma 2. So these are my positions, right? M comma n, right? uh, so the first element represents the row and the second element represents the column, right? So this is my index. Now what I want to do is I want to take in input from the user row wise. So first I need to take in input at and store it here, 0 0, then 0 1, and then 0 2. Okay, after this is done, I need to tell that row 1 or whatever, row 1 has been entered. Okay, enter next row. Now I need to start taking in at these locations. Okay, so I have to read it row wise. So how do we go about doing this using loops? So first what we need to do is, so if you see here, what is constant here in this row? What is constant? The row is constant, right? This particular value is constant, and this is changing, right? 1 0 1 2 is changing. So what I need to do is, in my loop, so first let's say I have a loop. Okay, while, let's say I have a while loop. Okay, and while, let me just store this. So this is my row, this is my column. Okay, and let me define a variable called row index, okay, and column index. Okay, now what I have to do is while. Okay, so if you have watched the video, you'll know how a while loop works. So while column index, and let me just define it as 0 initially. So while column index is less than it is less than column, then I read. Okay, so what is going to happen here? Let me just mute my phone, a lot of notifications are coming. So what is going to happen here? So first I read, okay, then I column index plus plus. So first I read my first I read the column. First I read one integer. Okay, so that will be stored here. So that is my 0 0. Okay, so let's say I input 2. Then my column index increments, right? My column index increments. So now my column index is it is 1. My column index is 1. Okay, so is my column index less than column? No, my column is 3, right? So it is not. So then again I take one more input. Okay, let's say I take an input of 4. Then I again increment my column index. So my column index is now 2. Okay, so now is 2 less than 3? No. So then I again read one more input. So let's say that input is 5. Okay, now I again increment my column. So my column increments, and what is the value now? My column is 3. Is 3 less than 3? No, it is not. So it will break out of this loop. Okay, so now we have one row has been read. So after this has been read, I will just print, okay, row 1 has been read, enter the next row. Okay. Uh, but now, how do I, keep track of the next row? For that, I need another while loop. Okay. So that is what is being done here. Let me just open my code here. So first what I'm doing is I'm reading the one row in this inner column, in this inner while loop. Okay. So let me just control C so that it's easy for me to explain. Okay. So I input. So I have my row as 2 rows and my column as 3 columns. Okay. Now what I do is, after I have gone through my first row, this is slightly confusing. Let me just shoot this, take a screenshot. Okay. So first the inner loop, right, is iterates through the columns and the outer loop iterates through the rows. So that is the concept. So let us just dry run this. The best way to understand this code is to dry run it. Okay. So we have, what are the variables that we have? We have m, we have n, we have row index. Okay. We have column index. Okay, so let us just consider a simple example. We have 2 rows. The user inputs 2 and 3. Okay. Now I come here, I check, and my row index have assigned as 0. If you see the code here, you see the code here, I've assigned my row index and column index to begin with as 0. Now I iterate through this. So first I check, is row index is 0 less than 2? Yes, it is less than 2. So I go in here. Here I assign my column index is equal to 0. Okay. Now I print, enter the elements of row 0 of the matrix. So now the user will start entering the elements of row 0. Okay. So while column index is less than n. So what is my column index? 0. Is 0 less than 3? Yes. If 0, since 0 is less than 3, let me have my input here. I will get an input. Okay. So this is my input 1. Let's say the user inputs 1. Now my column index increases to 1. Okay. Then again it will check. Is 1 less than 3? Yes. So then it will execute this. So it will take one more input. Let's say the user inputs 30. Now column index is equal to column index plus 1. Okay. So now my column index is 2. So now again it will go and check. Is 2 less than 3? So n is 3, right? Is 2 less than 3? Yes, less than 3. So again here the code will ask the user to give an input. Okay. So let's say the user inputs 99. Now what happens? Now my column index increases. It becomes 3. Now it checks, is 3 less than 3? No, it is not. So it comes out of this loop. Now the code prints row 0 has been completed. Okay. Now the row index gets incremented by 1. So my row index is 1. Now it goes back here. It goes here and it checks, is 1 less than 2? right? Is 1 less than 2? No. So then again column index becomes 0. So till here I got one row of one row of data. Okay. Now I am getting one more row. So that same process again starts. Okay, 0. This same process starts again, and I keep taking one more row, and after that when I come out, the row index increments by 1 again. Okay, so the row index becomes 2. Now is 2 less than 2? Yes, so it comes out. So I hope you guys get the gist of this. Okay, somebody has Akshat. Yeah, so Akshat has stop using companion mode. I don't know what that means. Okay, so Akshat has shared the code. Good, Akshat. So yeah, if you guys have any doubts up until this point, kindly ask me. I'll try and please share the code. Okay, I'll share the code. Don't worry. Actually, you can watch this recorded video also later on, but I'll share it anyways. Okay, guys. So do you guys have any doubts regarding this? Please type it in the chat box. Do let me know. So we'll move on to the next part if you guys don't have any doubt. Yeah, somebody is asking what is scanfs. Good, Prashant. That's a valid question. That's a valid question. Okay. Does anybody else have that doubt? Does anybody else have that doubt? What is scanf underscore s? Okay, Chanda Lakshmi. Okay. Okay. So since I want this to be an interactive session, can somebody who knows an answer to this, can they respond? If you guys know an answer to this, if somebody knows an answer to what is scanfs, maybe you can respond. So really great. I like the enthusiasm. Many of you guys are responding. I mean, you are participating actively. To take extract values from the user, correct? That is correct, Harini. So the question is, uh, I think what the major doubt that people have is, why is yeah. So what is the difference between scanf underscore s and scanf, right? Because everybody till now we have been using scanf. So why is this guy randomly using scanf underscore s? So that is the main concern that some of you have. Okay, so this is something that is specific only to the Visual Studio compiler. So since I'm using Visual Studio, that is why they have updated. They have made some updates, and the compiler. So this is a modification of scanf function. So if you actually Google it, you'll know they have a very good explanation about this. So essentially, uh, let's say I'm just using the scanf function. I can just give a very large amount of input, right, inside. Uh, so how does the program or how is the memory allocation done for this? So there is no concept of memory allocation. Let's say I'm trying to store it in some memory location. Uh, I need to predefine, just assign beforehand a certain memory space for the input that I'm taking. Uh, so what scanf underscore s does is it gives you one more option which I'm not using here, where you can actually assign that I need so I can assign so much amount of memory to be used for my input, and it will only use that much amount of memory if I and this option is not there in scanf function. So this is specific only to this particular compiler. So let me just uh, show you. So there's a very good explanation of this in Stack Overflow. Let me just. So this is a function that specifically belongs to the Microsoft compiler. Scanf originally just reads whatever console input you type and assigns it to a type of variable. If you have an array, so I mean you guys can go through this. I'll share the link of this in case you didn't completely understand my explanation. So let me just share this link. Yes, Akshat. GCC users will not have it. Okay, moving on. So we'll move on to the next part. If you guys have already, so I'm going to make a small error in my code. Okay, and I want you guys to identify what that error is. So just 1 second. So I'm going to make a few errors and I want you to identify what these errors are in the same code. Control C. Okay, so I'm can somebody identify what the error is in this code? I have made an error purposely just now. Can somebody tell me what that error is? Kindly take a couple of minutes. So you can type your answer in the chat box. So this is an important point that I want to make. So Ajit Roy is saying the share code is not complete. Okay, Ajit, I don't know why. Maybe there is a limit to how much this thing. Let me try and share it again. I will share it again, or you can. This video will be available to you, Ajit. You can always watch the video. So Rishi Raj is raising his hand. You can type your question in the chat box, Rishi. Okay, so I'll run this code. Maybe then you guys will understand what the error is. Let me run this code. What is this? Yeah, that is true, but that was not the error I was intending to make. Function is not type declared. Okay, okay. Let me let me comment this. Now it should work. Okay, yeah. So yeah, you guys are right, but there is one more error that I made in this code. Okay, I'll run the code. Maybe you guys can then understand. So let me just run this code. Okay, so let me make a 2 cross 3 this thing. So enter the elements of row of 0 of the matrix. Okay, so I have to enter 3 elements, 1, 2, 3. So you see row 0 complete. Enter the elements of row 1. Row 1 also complete. Why is that? Can somebody tell me why is that? So maybe now you will get a hint what is going on. I have made some small modification. and because of that modification, the entire code is not murky. Where no increment of row. So row is being incremented, right? You can see here. Row is being incremented, Prashant. Prashant has said no increment, but you are close, Prashant. You are on the correct path, but it's not exactly related with row. No increment in column. So column is also being incremented, Akshat, but you are even closer to the answer now. See, column is being incremented, row is also being incremented. Both are being incremented, row as well as column. There is this one small error that is there, due to which this code is not working. Okay, I will tell you the answer, or do you guys want to try for a minute, one more minute? It's actually very simple, but it's hard to miss. So I'll run the code again, and you see what is happening. Okay, so debugging is a very important part of code development. So let me just enter 2 cross. Let me enter an array 3 cross 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I've entered one row. So it is saying row 0 complete, enter the elements of row 1 of the matrix. Row 1 complete, enter the elements of row 2 of the matrix. Row 2 complete. So column initialization is missed. The first loop. Yeah, so you guys are close, and yeah, Akshat has also responded. Uh, yes, yes. So initialization of the column is not done. Good, good. So I'm happy that you guys are able to. Yes, yes. Column Astha Sri Devi. Yes, you guys are correct. Column initialization is missed. That is the key part. So if you see here, just look at this. I'm initializing the column, right? I need to initialize the column because after I run this inner loop, my column value has increased, right? It has become My column value has become n. Yes, it has become equal to n. That is why it exited the loop. Now when I come back after in the next outer while loop, I need to, you know, reinitialize the column to 0. Column index equals 0, right? This is important. And now when I run, it should work. Okay, I did. Wait. 2, 2 cross 4. Okay. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's working. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so let us move on to the next part of the session. Okay, so now we have done A, B, and C. Every row should be entered in an ascending order. Okay, if an input of a row does not follow this, then indicate to the user to re-enter the number as per the rule. So let me show you what that looks like. What I mean. I'm really happy that you guys are able to debug the code. Let me just uncomment this and run the code. Okay, so yeah, let me enter a 2 cross 3 matrix. 2 cross 3. Enter the elements of row 1 of the matrix in ascending order. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, row 1 complete. 2. Now see, I'm not going to, the next number that I enter is 3, is let's say 1, which is not in ascending order, right? Invalid input, the current input 1 is less than or equal to the previous input 2, right? So re-enter the correct number. So let me again enter a wrong number. 2, invalid input, the current input 2 is less than or equal to the previous input 2. So I have to enter a number larger than 2, right? Let me enter 3. Okay, now, so row 2 complete. So I hope you have the idea. The numbers in the row should be in ascending order. Okay. So yeah, please take 10 minutes and try and solve this. We'll meet at 7:13. So this is not a trivial problem to solve. Some of you might find it trivial if you are good with programming, but if you are a beginner, it might not really be that intuitive. So the more and more you solve these kind of problems, the easier it will get. So I'll join back. It's 7:04 now. I'll join back in 7:15. So you guys take that time to solve this problem. So I'll just join back in 10 minutes. I'll just go drink some water and come. Please use this time to solve this problem. Okay. Akshat is. Akshat is done. Akshat is done. Good. Then we have. Can we not put line 90 inside the loop? Uh, Let me go to my program and check. Line 90. Line 90. Which line, Akshat? Can you just tell me? I'm not able to get which line. 990. Int column. Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying that. What are you saying, Akshat? Could you clarify? You want this line to be in the loop, is it? I didn't get you. Could you clarify once? Okay, you're saying just put this initialization line directly here. I think that is what you're saying. Rather than writing one code here, one line here, and one line here, you can just yeah, you can do that actually. That is also correct. That is correct. Yes, yes, you can do it. That will also work. Okay. No, no, Raj. We won't be discussing about functions today. We'll be discussing about week two's content only. So we are discussing loops this week. Loop related questions only we'll discuss. Yeah. Okay, so it's almost time. You guys have another minute. So how many of you have been able to solve this problem? Just type yes in the chat box. Akshat has done. Good. What about the others other than Akshat? Not sure if it is correct. No problem, Harini. Uh, I will. The important part is you are attempting to solve it, so that is important. Little bit finished. Okay, Raj. Good. Good that you guys are attempting this. Do you guys need some more time, or shall I get directly into the discussion? Good. Good. Debolina Biswas is trying. Great. Okay. Do you guys need some more time, or shall I get directly into the explanation? Let me know in the chat box. Explanation. Okay, Raj is telling explanation. Yes, sir. We will discuss. Attempted. Ishan also attempted. Good. Okay, guys. Let's get into the discussion. Uh, so let me go here. So Akshat, would you like to share your screen and just show us how your program is running? Great. Okay, Akshat will share his screen now. Okay, Akshat is presenting. Great. Okay, Akshat, can you do one more thing? Can you run the code once more and make that descending wrong entry 2 times in a row? So, for example, let's say you don't, yeah, okay, Akshat is doing that. One, two, okay, two, okay, invalid entry. One more invalid entry, okay, good, good. So, Akshat has rows two. Okay. Yeah, Akshat has run the code properly. Great, yeah. Okay. So now I will share my screen and we'll discuss this. So now let us assume that we got this part correct, right? We know how to input. Uh, Let me just go starting. So we know how to input an array. So let us just assume that simple example of 2 cross 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this is my 2 cross 3 matrix. Now what I need to check is uh, while I'm inputting itself, I need to do this. So I need to check whether this, for example, let us consider this row, right? This is my zeroth row, 0, 1. And this is my zeroth column, first column, second column. Okay. So this is my 2 by 3 matrix. Now, when I'm inputting itself, I need to check, right? I need to check whether my current input is should be greater than the previous input, right? That is ascending. So, so one, so let's say now I input my current, my first variable, right? I input my first variable, let's say 1. Now, let's say I input my second this thing. So now I have to check whether 2 is less than 1 or not. Only if 2 is less than 1, I will go to the next step. Okay. If it is not less than 1, then again I will ask the person to re-input. Okay, so in this case 2 is less than 1. So perfect. Now what I do, I will consider an input. Sorry, 2 should be greater than 1, right? I'm sorry, I was saying the opposite thing. Only if 2 is greater than 1, I will go to the next step. Okay, so now I take one more input as 2. Okay, so is 2 greater than 2? No, right? So again I will ask the user to input one more variable until only, and then again I will compare the new. Let's say I input one more variable called -1. So I'll compare -1 with 2 again. If it does not happen, then I will, I have to again keep asking the person to input until he gives the correct input. Okay, so the correct input should be greater than 2. Let's say I input 4, so it will go to, now it is in ascending order, 1 comma 2 comma 4, right? So where can I do this? Can somebody respond where I can put this logic? In which while loop should I put this logic? Is it in the row while loop or in the column while loop? So we have two while loops, right? I hope you recall. So we have two while loops. One iterates to the row, one iterates to the column. Okay, column. Yes, correct. Akshat, correct. Raj Prabhu, correct. Debolina Biswas, correct. All are saying Sri Devi, correct. Column, yes. You guys are right. We have to put this logic in the column, right? Because we are iterating through the column is what is where the this is being inputted, right? So okay, that is correct. So what is the one condition? So we need two variables, right? One variable will store the current input and the other variable will store the previous input. I hope that is correct. So you guys agree with that? Only then can you compare, right? With the, okay, Sai is telling yes. So we need two variables, and the other what is the other important thing during the comparison? Can somebody tell me? Manpreet is also responding. Good. What is the other important factor? Okay, you can store first variable in temp if else condition. Okay. Okay, so you guys are responding. Okay, so you should not compare the first variable, right? You should not because there's nothing to compare it with. In the row, you can't compare because the first variable is the starting point. So only from the second variable can you compare. I hope you guys get this important point. Yes, okay. So you guys are responding yes. So we can only start making a comparison from here. Okay, and what? Okay, let me run this code. Okay, let me just show you guys what is happening. So that is what we are doing. So see, we have the outer loop, which is the row loop. Then in the column, when the column comes, right, I have to check. First, I have to check current element being input is not the first element of the row. So that is important. That is what I just explained here. We cannot do comparison because there's nothing to compare it with. Okay, only from the second element onwards we can compare. If the current index, column index is not equal to 0, only then we will go into the if loop. Okay, if it is equal to 0, we will directly just take the input and we will not do any comparison, right? So now that we are inputting the second in this particular variable, we are inputting the if it is not equal to 0, then let us say it is 1 now. The column index is 1. So it goes into this. Now what I do is I have a variable called previous input, okay, to store the previously entered input. So the current input, which is actually in the previous loop, okay, the previous loop's input I'm storing it in this variable called previous input, and now I'm taking in the input from the user and I'm storing it in current input. Okay, so what these two lines do is the previous input the previous input is stored in this and the current input is stored in this variable. Now I check, I do the following comparison. If current input is greater than previous input, is current input greater than previous input? If it is not greater, so you can see this not symbol here, right? This not operator. So what this checks is if current input is not greater than previous input, right? If current input is not greater than previous input, what will happen is invalid input, the current input is less than or equal to the previous input, okay? And re-enter the number in the ascending order. Re-enter the, now again, you know what I need to do is, since I've already assigned my current input, which is the wrong number, I have to reassign the previous input to current input. So okay, and then what I need to do is my column value is going to get incremented at the end. I don't want that to happen. I want the user to keep entering. I want the user to again enter this correct value. Okay, so I decrement my column index by 1. Okay, and then I come out of the loop, and then the column number gets incremented by 1 here. So it cancels out. So I'm again at the same column index. My column index remains the same. That is the whole point of this. So if anybody is having any problem understanding this, please let me know so that I can explain it properly. So let us go. Let us do a dry run of this. Okay. Let us do a dry run of this. Okay. Okay. So what are the variables that we have? We have column index, row index, okay, current current input, previous input, right? And yeah, so what we need to do now is uh, I will not go through this what is this? Yeah, I will not go through the row index. We are just looking at the column loop now. Okay, because that is the main this thing. So now let us say my column is 0. Okay, column is 0, and we'll have one input also here. Input column is 0. Okay, we don't need this row index. So now I check, is column index not equal to 0? No, column index is equal to 0. So if so since column index is equal to 0, this entire part is skipped. Okay, and my program comes directly to this part. So now I take an input. So let the input be, let's say the user inputs 5. Okay, now column index is equal to column index plus 1. So I column index gets incremented. Now I go back here. Okay, next iteration. Now I check, is column index is it not equal to 0? Yes, it is not equal to 0. 1 is not equal to 0, so it enters the if loop. Okay, sir, once if, let me see what is Prashant is saying. Sir, once if condition don't entered, how next value will be taken? Regarding what are you talking about, Prashant? Can you just elaborate on that? I'm not able to understand. Yes, all PPT, video recording, everything will be provided. Actually, I don't know why NPTEL team has not shared it, the link with you guys. I will inform them. to I have shared from my end to NPTEL, but they have not. So actually, I'll tell you where it is supposed to be. I'll show you where the live session does. So you can see here, right? So the NPTEL live session, the recordings will be available here actually. There'll be one more tab here, and it'll be live interaction session. So I don't know why they have not shared it yet, but I will write an email to them and I will tell them to share. So don't worry. Okay. Okay. Sir, why decrement column index by -1? Yes, I will get to that. Just hold on for a few minutes, Prashant, and then I will get to that part. Yes, Sai, we will have live session every week. So today I'm discussing second week's live session, second week's content, and on Monday also there will be one more other TA. That other TA will also again discuss live. So week two's content. So for example, if your doubts are you're not able to get your doubts solved today, you have another 2 hour session on Monday, and the TA will also discuss problems with you. So yeah, we will be having every week. Will doubt session take place any specific day of the week? Yes, Sai. The session that I am going to take will happen every Friday, 6 to 8. Okay. And the session that the other TA will take, live interaction session, that will also happen. That will happen every Monday. Next week, I will not take on Friday. I will take on Sunday instead. Only for next week. But every other week, I will take on Friday, 6 to 8. I hope that your doubt is solved, Sai. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's start discussing this. Let's go through this quickly so that we can go to the next part. Okay, so now I come here. Is one is not equal to 0? That is true. So it enters this if loop. Okay. Now previous input is equal to current input. So I'm assigning previous input to current input. So current input is 5, right? So the input that I had taken previously, the first input was 5. So now I'm assigning previous input to current input. Okay. Now what is happening? Now I'm asking the user to input one more value. So let us say he inputs a value of 7, right? Now I check, is 7 greater than 5? Okay, if 7 is not greater than 5, only then it will enter this if loop. Can you see this? 7 greater than 5 is true. Now true means not of true is false, right? So this condition is false in this particular case because 7 is greater than 5. Only when 7 is not greater than 5 it will enter this if block. Okay, so it skips this part and now it does column index is equal to column index plus 1, which is 2. Okay, now we go to the next iteration. Okay, so let me just go through this once entirely and then uh, somebody is asking some Faisal Saifi. Okay, what's going on there properly? Okay, Faisal, let me just go through this entire part here and then again I will explain it to you. Okay, so now my column index is 2. So is 2 not equal to 0? Yes, 2 is not equal to 0. So I enter this if loop. Now previous input is equal to current input. Okay, so I assign the previous input to current input. So I assign the current input to previous input. So the current input is 7. Assign it to this variable. So now previous input has a value of 7. Okay, now I ask the user to give me one more input. Okay, so and that will be stored in the value current input. Okay, so let's say the user enters 6. Okay, now the user enters 6. So what is happening? here now I check, is 6 greater than 7? Is current input, which is 6, is it greater than previous input? No, it is not. 6 is not greater than 7. So it enters this. Okay, it enters this block. Now it prints invalid input. The current value is less than or equal to the previous input. Okay, re-enter this number in ascending order. Okay, so now what I do is my current input value I assign it to previous input for the next comparison, right? I don't want to compare this, the value of 6 with my next input. So I'm asking the user to again input, right? I'm asking the user to again input a new value. So I want to, the new value I want to compare it with 7, not 6. So I'm doing this part. Okay. Now column index is equal to column index minus 1. I'll tell you why this is done. So now my column index becomes 1, right? Now I come out of here. Now again my column index is equal to column index plus 1. So my column index becomes 2. So, let's say I had not done this minus 1. What would have happened? My column index would have become 3 here, correct? Now if I had gone here to this loop here, 3 would have been less than n. 3 would have been 3 is not less than n, right? So n is 3 here. So 3 is less than 3. That is not true. So it would have come out of the while loop. I don't want that. I want the value to be 2 here. I don't want this to negate this part because the user has entered a wrong input, right? I want to again take in the, I don't want to increment the column index, but column is getting incremented here. So to avoid this, I am decrementing here, so that when I increment here, the value is still 2. Okay, so that is why I am doing it. So now again I come here 2. Okay, column index is 2. Is 2 not equal to 0? Yes, 2 is not equal to 0, so it enters this. So now again, what is my previous input? Okay, previous input is equal to current input, right? That is what I'm doing here. Now, again I take one more input from the user. Let us say that is 8. Okay. Now I do a comparison. Is 8 greater than 7? Yes, 8 is greater than 7. So this entire block is skipped. Okay. Now I do column is equal to column plus 1. Okay, so my column index is 3. Now in my while loop, okay, 3 is less than 3. No, it is not less than 3. So it comes out of the while loop. So that is the basic logic. I hope you guys understood this. If you didn't understand it, then you can again watch the recorded video. I will be sharing the recorded video. Okay. Akshat has also shared the code. Good, Akshat. So Akshat is helping out our friends here. Yeah. So I hope this solves. Gives you some kind of idea as to what is happening. Okay. So now somebody asked why. Okay. Let us see what happens if I don't do this. Okay. Let me comment this out. Let me comment this out. Okay. So let me run this code. Okay, let it be a 2 cross 3 matrix. 2 cross 3. So enter the elements of row 1 of the matrix in ascending order. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Row 1 complete. Now 1. Now I enter minus 1. It should be in ascending order. So it's saying invalid input, right? But I need to enter 2 more values for this row to be complete. I'm not considering this input, right? But I want 2 more values to be input by the user. So let me just enter a correct value, 3. But see, here it gets over, right? Here itself, instead I have entered an invalid input. So in place of that, I want one more correct input to be entered. But here, only 2 inputs are there. Okay, it is also considering the invalid input. That is because for the invalid input also I incremented. See, here column index is being incremented, right? For the invalid input is also it is getting incremented. So in the case of invalid input, I am decrementing it by here so that when it increments, it stays, the column index value stays at its own position. That is the whole reason why I am doing this. So I hope that clarifies the problem. Okay, so let us go to the next part. I know it's a very long session. Okay, Prashant is telling clear. Good. So the next part is modify question 1 to do the following. The even rows should be input by the user in an ascending order and the odd rows should be input in a descending order. If this rule is broken by the user as many times as the number of columns of the matrix. Okay, so first you do part A, then we will see part B. Okay, start solving part A and then we will see part B. So I'll give you guys 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes to do this. Solve Q2 part B. Part A, sorry. Part A. Take 10 minutes. We will discuss at 7:51. Okay. So kindly attempt this guys. So if you guys are not able to solve it in the first go, please don't get disheartened. Even I find when I started programming, I was it took me a lot of time to get uh, you know properly start solving problems using code. So don't get disheartened. It's very natural if you are not able to solve, and especially if you are new, these loops are very confusing. So don't get disheartened. Keep trying to solve more and more problems, and I'm sure you will get better at it. So this might be slightly challenging, but don't worry. So regarding the okay, Sai is asking, sir, I want to know the types of questions that may come in the exam. Will it be similar to the questions asked in the assignment? So I'm sorry, Sai. I mean, I don't know about this uh, because I'm not directly related with the admin part of this course. So I'm doing these live sessions independently. So I'm not in contact with the professor also. So professor is from IIT Kanpur, and I'm a research scholar here in IIT Madras. So I have just signed up for these live sessions because uh, as a part of my PMRF deliverables, I need to uh, take these live sessions every week. So that is why I signed up for it. But I'm not sure about what kind of questions will come in the exam. But in general, if you are able to solve the assignment questions, this is my general understanding. Uh, if you are able to solve the assignment questions, you will 100% be able to solve the uh, questions in the exam. Because I don't think they will, complicate it. They just want to know whether you get the concept. So yeah, okay. Akshat is completed it. Great, Akshat. In 5 minutes, he completed it. It took me longer to solve this. So that's great. Akshat is rocking it. Akshat is in just modified the old one little bit. Great, Akshat. Like your spirit. So I will share the code with you guys. Don't worry about it. Can we use break for part B of the question? Yes, yes, you can. That is the way to solve it, Sai. You are correct. So Sai has already started solving part B also. That's great. Yes, Sai. To solve the part B, you will have to use break. Correct. So let us wait for a couple of more minutes. Okay, so Ishan is asking, that's a very good question, Ishan. Sir, the first row, will I consider it as 1 or 0? Uh, you can, I think it is better if you consider it as, I leave that up to you, Ishan. In my case, I considered the first row as 1, but you can consider it as 0 and also solve the problem. That is not a problem. But for in my case, the way I solved it using considering the first row as 1, not 0. So yeah, both ways are correct. I think I should have clarified that before, but anyways, not a problem. Okay, so let us discuss this. So again, where should we? Let me just run this code. Okay, enter two numbers as the dimensions of a 2D matrix. Okay, so let me enter three rows, and four columns. Okay, enter the elements of row 1 of the matrix in descending order. Okay, so since it's odd, I already told you the odd row will be in descending order and the even row will be in ascending order. Okay, so let me enter 2. Okay, 3. So invalid input, right? So 2. Again, if I enter 2 again, that is also invalid because it is not in descending order. Let me enter uh, 1. Then let me enter -1. And finally -10. Okay, row 1 complete. Enter the elements of row 2 of the matrix in ascending order. See, now it is saying ascending order. So 1, 2, 3. Let me enter one invalid input, 3, invalid input, then 4. Then row 2 is complete. Enter the elements of row 3 of the matrix in ascending order. Okay. So again, let me enter in descending order. Row 3 is odd, so descending order. 4, 0, -1. Let me enter 2, so it's invalid, -5. So yeah, row 3 complete. So this is how the program should work. So maybe Akshat can share his screen. So Aryan, you'll get the recorded lectures. Actually, it is supposed to be present on the NPTEL page, but I just checked it is not there. So I'll just drop an email to the NPTEL people, and they will update it. So don't worry about it. It will be available to you. So Akshat, if you can share your screen and maybe just run the code for the others, for the benefit of others. Is Akshat there or did he leave? Yeah, Akshat is presenting. Good. Okay, okay. So, okay, no problem, Akshat. So actually, Akshat has already started working on the next part. So he modified the program. That's not a problem, Akshat. So I'll start discussing the current problem, and uh, yeah, I'll start discussing the current problem. So yeah, the way to solve this. So where do you think the modification should be? Should it be in the? Okay, my screen is not visible, right? Let me share. Resume presentation. Okay. So we have only a few more minutes. I'll try and give you a gist of how this works, and then I'll also share my code. Then we'll see how to take it forward. Maybe next class we'll discuss, or I don't know. So let me. So where do you think this modification should be? Okay. Inside the column loop. Yeah, Akshat is correct. Akshat is responding inside the column loop. Okay, yeah, so basically it's the same thing. We have to, instead of just checking for the descending condition, one for ascending, one for even. Okay, two loops, one for ascending and one for even. Okay, now let me just give you a gist of how this works. So now in the column loop, what you do is start thinking. Okay, so this is our input. Okay, this is my matrix. This is, let's say, a 2 cross 4 matrix. Okay, so the first row, which is an odd uh, row 0, this is row 1, right? So, and this is row 2. So this should be in descending order because it is an odd row, and this should be in ascending. So what we need to do, the modification that we need to do is we need to do only one extra thing. We need to check whether our the row value is odd or even. If it is odd, then instead of checking, what I will do is I will check whether my current input, if it is odd, if my current input is lesser than my previous input. Okay, then it is a valid input, otherwise it is an invalid input. If it is an even row, then we have to do the opposite, right? We have to check whether the current, we have already seen this in the previous part. So how do you check whether a row is even or odd? Can somebody tell me? Okay, somebody has already responded. Row index modulus 2 is equal to 0, even. Yes, that is correct. So row index. So Sai Harini has responded. Row index modulus 2 is equal to 0. If this is true, then the row is even, right? Then it is an even row, and then I check this condition, ascending condition. Else I check for the descending condition, right? Okay, so let me just show you the code. Let me just show you the code. So see here, that is what I'm doing. First I'm checking, okay, if the row index. So I hope you guys know how this works, modulus works. So let's say I have a number 7 and I have a number 2. 7 modulus 2, right? So what it will do is it will divide 7 by 2, and the modulus 7 modulus 2 will give the remainder. So 2 goes 3 times in 7, right? 2 3s are 6. And what is remaining? The remainder is 1, right? In this case. So 7 modulus 2 gives me a remainder of 1. But if I do 8 modulus 2, it will give me a remainder of 0, because 2 goes 4 times. 2 into 4 is equal to 8. 2 goes perfectly in 8, so there is no remainder. Okay, so this is how we can find out whether a number is odd or even. So if we do take a modulus of an odd number by 2, the remainder will be 1. If we take the modulus of an even number with 2, the remainder will be 0. So that is the logic. So we are done with our time is up, but I'll just still just rush through this. So here I'm checking if the row is an odd row, then I'm checking if the current input is less than the previous input. Okay, if the current input is less than the previous input, then it is fine. Otherwise, what I do is the same thing. I tell it is an invalid input. Okay, I remove the current input. I don't consider the current input, and then I do column index is equal to column index minus 1. So I have one question for you guys. What other thing can I use other than this? I can, let's say I remove this. There is one more statement that I can use. Can somebody tell me what is it? Can somebody tell me what it is? Okay, I'll only tell you because it's already time. We can use a continuous statement here. So that continuous statement, okay, somebody is telling, somebody has a doubt. Okay, I will unmute now. Yeah, I've unmuted. You can ask a doubt. You can ask a doubt. Yes, Akshat, you can leave, no problem. So, guys, if you have uh, the session has ended. So, if you guys don't have any doubts, you can leave. For the people who have doubts, they can stay back and ask me. So, thank you for joining into for this session, and we'll meet next week again. On next week, I won't be available on Friday, but the class will be on Sunday instead. Sunday 4 to 6. You will get an email regarding this. So, thank you guys for joining in. I have unmuted you.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Tell
Sir,
me.
good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir, actually, we are doing this course, sir. There is a small problem in submitting this program, sir. While
Okay.
we type the program and compile it, the compilation will show the past, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And the public, this one, public option will be there, no, sir, for 0, for 2, or 2 questions will be there, no, sir.
Okay. So this is
Yeah.
regarding the assignment submission, is it?
Yeah, assignment submission, sir. When one public and private, sir, when private is correct, public will be wrong, sir. When public options are correct and private will be wrong, sir. Both cannot be the same, sir. We are trying it, sir, but it is not happening.
Okay, okay. Projit, actually, I'm not involved with the assignment submission and, like I said, the admin related things. So even I've actually not even seen how the assignment submission is done. So I don't have any idea about it. But what you can do is you can write an email, or you can just put it on the forum, whatever issue you're facing, and maybe it will get resolved. So I won't be
Sir,
able to
the
help in
email is
that.
available in the course, sir.
I don't know. You can just check. Let me just check how it works. You can just directly. Uh, I'm not sure. You'll need to check here. There's also a forum here, so you can just post it on the forum. But I'm not sure how I can solve this because I'm not, involved in this part of the course. So I have no idea about it regarding the assignment submission and all that. So see, I've not even seen the assignment till now. So I don't have much idea about this. So I'm sorry, I'm not able to help you in this. But you can ask a doubt on the forum.
Okay, sir. So only, sir. But one thing, the program it is correct, sir. When we recall it, sir, we recheck. The
Hmm.
program is correct, but in the two methods, one method is getting corrected, one is getting wrong, sir.
Okay. Okay.
So that
I
was the
don't.
problem.
Okay. I don't know about that, Pradeep. You'll have to take it up with the NPTEL people or the people who are directly involved with this assignment part. So yeah,
Okay.
sorry about that. Yeah. So
No,
yeah, I'll
no
just
problem,
share the
sir.
code. Yeah, somebody's asking about the code. Let me just share the code. Let me just share this code.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir, as we are not getting the video of this lecture, so can you please just show the slides from starting so we can just take the screenshots?
So you will be getting the video, Ravindra. Don't worry about it. For some reason, they have not shared it this time, for the last video. But I've already shared my recorded lecture with NPTEL. I will message them and I will tell them to, uh, you know, uh, share it immediately. But don't worry, the recording, the video, everything will be shared with you. So don't worry about that.
Sir, actually, we have to done assignment, so the deadline, the assignment is closed. So we
Okay.
need to just go through it. So
Okay,
your
fine.
lecture,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay, I will just share. Can I share my slide with you itself right now?
Yes, sir, sure.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
just share my
just
slide with
I
you.
will just take, we will just take a screenshot of that.
Okay, let me. So anyways, I'll be sharing, but let me file, save as PDF. Okay, let me see. Is there an option to share here on this?
So I don't know about.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, you can take the screenshot for now. Just take the screenshot.
Okay, sir. Just
Yeah.
now. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll go to the next one. Huh?
Next slide. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so these two questions I have not discussed. If you want, you can still take a screenshot of this.
Yes, sir. We can, I just take a screenshot. We will try by our own.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir. Next question, sir. Okay, next, sir.
Yeah, it's done.
Okay.
Next. Okay,
Also,
okay, yeah.
you can share your video in YouTube itself. If you are having a YouTube channel, so you can just undisclose your videos so that we can just get access
Yeah,
to the videos.
yeah. So I'm sharing all my videos on YouTube only. So even the previous video I've shared the link with on YouTube. So did you get my previous video link? I shared it sometime back.
No, sir. Just share me your share us your channel, sir. Link of your
Okay,
channel, so that we can get access to all the videos.
okay. I've just entered the previous video's link in the chat box.
Yes, sir. I got it.
So yeah, you can access my channel in that. So I'll upload this video today night, and you'll have access to today's recording also. So don't worry about it.
Okay, sir. That will be fine.
Okay, okay, guys. I
Thank you,
need to
sir.
go. Thank you for joining in, all of you, and see you guys next week. Okay. So I'll stop the recording now, and as well I'll close the meeting. So thank you for joining in and patiently listening.